My name is Emily, and what I'm about to share with you took place a few years ago, back when I was navigating the tumultuous waters of sophomore year in college. The setting? A serene and seemingly safe city that prided itself on low crime rates, friendly locals, and a lack of echoing sirens. Little did I know that the illusion of tranquility would shatter in the course of just one fateful night. It was the late November of 2021, a month that had the city wrapped in a cold embrace. My friends and I decided to hit the town, aiming to celebrate our triumphant survival of finals at a local bar. Despite the city's reputation for safety, it was no stranger to lively establishments, often leading to raucous bar fights and the occasional police intervention. Nevertheless, that night we were carefree, reveling in the post-exam euphoria. Around 1 a.m., I decided to call it a night as I needed to wrap up packing before my flight home the next day. My friends, however, were determined to squeeze every drop of enjoyment from the evening. With proper goodbyes exchanged, I stumbled out of the bar, phone in hand, and summoned an Uber to whisk me back to my dorm. To my relief, a driver accepted my request almost instantly, a rare occurrence given the late hour. I settled onto an outside bench, the chilly air keeping me alert, when a car pulled up, and someone inside gestured for me to hop in. In my slightly inebriated state, I assumed it was my Uber, even though the app indicated he was still a good 4 minutes away. Ignoring the discrepancy, I climbed into the car, and that's when I sensed that something was off. He didn't utter my name or offer a customary greeting. My attempts at small talk were met with curt, one-word responses. Exhausted and not inclined to probe further, I gave him my address, noting that he hadn't bothered to input it into his GPS, an odd choice considering the late hour. As the car rolled through the quiet streets, my discomfort grew. I glanced out the window and realized we were heading in the opposite direction of my campus. Trying to remain composed, I spoke up. "Sir, my college is in the other direction." He acknowledged my words with a glance in the rear-view mirror, a nod that conveyed understanding. Yet, he continued driving until we reached a halt beside a decrepit office building. It was then that the surreal fog lifted, and the realization struck me like a bolt of lightning. In a moment of panic, the fake Uber driver instructed me to stay put as he disappeared behind the building. Clutching my cell phone, I discovered multiple missed calls and messages from the real Uber driver. The urgency of the situation hit me, and I knew I had to act swiftly. Slowly, I opened the car door and took off running, desperately trying to maintain my balance. Finding myself in a sparsely populated area, I sought refuge in a nearby shop that miraculously remained open. With trembling hands, I dialed the police, recounting the harrowing ordeal. Within minutes, 2 police cruisers descended upon the office building, but the imposter's car had vanished into the night. I cooperated with the officers, providing a detailed description of the car, hoping it would aid in their investigation. To this day, I remain uncertain if they ever located the mysterious vehicle or identified the driver. However, about a month after my ordeal, a chilling news report surfaced. It detailed the disappearance of a couple who, like me, fell victim to a false Uber. The boyfriend's lifeless body was discovered miles away, while the girlfriend miraculously survived, albeit covered in severe bruises. The report suggested they knew the assailant, leaving me with lingering questions and a haunting sense of unease. As time passed, the car remained elusive, never officially found, and the identity of the driver remained shrouded in mystery. The shadows of that night still linger in my memory, a reminder that danger can lurk even in the quietest corners of seemingly safe cities. So, for the past 3 years, I've been navigating the unpredictable world of delivery driving. It all started at the onset of the pandemic, and let me tell you, it's a lot more taxing than people might assume. Over the years, I've encountered all sorts of customers, but the tale I'm about to share takes the cake. It was a rather unremarkable Thursday, and I found myself immersed in the world of Uber Eats, fulfilling orders for those who preferred the comfort of their homes. My routine usually involved late-night deliveries to keep the cash flowing. During the surge in the popularity of delivery apps, I took advantage of the opportunity and juggled both Uber Eats and DoorDash. On this particular day, I had exclusively chosen Uber Eats for my deliveries. Before long, a sizable order popped up from a house not too far away, a promising prospect for an extra tip. I drove to the designated restaurant, collected the order, and embarked on the 10-minute drive to the customer's address. However, there was a minor inconvenience. A persistent rain had decided to accompany me on my deliveries. I've never been a fan of driving in the rain, but financial realities dictated that I soldier on. It was around 4 in the afternoon when I turned into the road leading to the customer's house. To reach the destination, one had to navigate a narrow pathway cutting through a wooded area, a well-hidden path unless you deliberately sought it out. I maneuvered my car down this dirt road cautiously, arriving at a modest one-story house where a man sat in a rocking chair, serenely listening to the rain. As I stepped out of my car, he rose to assist me with the food. Initially, he appeared to be a decent, if stereotypical, redneck. He apologized for the confusion in his location, to which I responded with understanding and wished him a pleasant day. As I was about to make my exit, he extended an invitation for me to come inside and try some pastries he had baked earlier. Politely declining, I explained my need to continue with deliveries. Strangely, he seemed unfazed by my refusal, persistently urging me to join him. Even promises of an increased tip failed to sway my decision. Growing visibly annoyed, I maintained composure and firmly declined. Desperate to extricate myself, I resorted to pretending I was on a phone call with another customer, successfully deterring any further insistence. He retreated inside with his food, allowing me to swiftly return to my car, and it would merely be an odd encounter. However, this story takes a dark and unsettling turn. Later that night, my girlfriend and I settled on the couch to catch up on the news. A chilling report caught our attention, a man in the area attempting to lure kids into his truck. Unfortunately, we lived in an area where such incidents weren't unheard of. The shock came when the news report displayed the face of the individual responsible. It was the same man I had delivered food to earlier that day. The same beard, the same hair. There was no doubt. I went absolutely hysterical, nearly spitting out the water I was drinking. Turns out, he was arrested shortly after I completed his delivery. I had sensed something off about him, and my instincts were proven correct. It was a chilling revelation that highlighted the hidden dangers lurking in the seemingly mundane world of delivery driving. July 4th, 2018 marked a pivotal moment in my life. At that time, I had recently delved into the world of ride-sharing, juggling both Uber and Lyft as a side hustle to supplement my income. The pay wasn't stellar, but the flexibility was unparalleled, freeing me from the constraints of a traditional job. It was a chilled and steady gig, but it demanded constant vigilance. On that Independence Day, I made the decision to dedicate my evening to Ubering. With the city hosting its annual music festival, drawing thousands of revelers, I knew the demand for rides would be sky high. As anticipated, ride requests flooded in as festival goers spilled out, and I decided to accept one. A man approached my car, confirming if I was his Uber. My affirmative response prompted him to settle into the back seat. The unmistakable scent of marijuana wafted through the car, a byproduct of festival indulgence. I shrugged it off, attributing it to the celebratory atmosphere. Little did I know, the evening was about to take a dark turn. Throughout the ride, the passenger fixated on me, his gaze unwavering, scrutinizing my every move. The discomfort settled in, and I yearned to conclude the ride swiftly. In a brief respite from his intense stare, he retrieved his phone to make a call. As I navigated the streets, the unfamiliar cadence of French filled the car. While I grasped a fair bit of French, courtesy of my aunt, I refrained from eavesdropping on private conversations. However, my ears perked up when he mentioned a girl he was riding with. The blood ran cold in my veins, and I feigned ignorance, hoping he hadn't noticed my comprehension. What followed was a chilling revelation. He outlined his sinister plans, mentioning something about snatching me up after I dropped him off. Panic surged through me. His destination loomed only 5 minutes away. As a petite woman of 5'3", weighing around 150 pounds, I realized the vast physical disadvantage against a towering muscular man. With urgency pressing upon me, I reached for my phone to call my boyfriend. My plan was to create a ruse, stirring a scene and fabricating an excuse to terminate the ride. Dialing his number, I launched into a fabricated emergency, conjuring images of a bleeding relative on the floor. My boyfriend, utterly perplexed, questioned the surreal scenario unfolding over the phone. Drawing on my past experience in acting school, I played my part convincingly. I abruptly ended the call, turning to the man with a sense of urgency. "Sir, my grandma just hurt herself. I have to go. I'm dropping you off here, just a few blocks down." With that, I navigated to a random spot, planning my escape. Before resuming my journey, I dialed my boyfriend once more, revealing the truth and expressing my gratitude for his bewildered cooperation. The ordeal unfolded rapidly, leaving me shaken but unharmed. Later, I reported the incident to Uber, unsure if any investigation ensued. To this day, I remain grateful for my quick thinking, for the French I gleaned from my aunt, and for the unwavering support of my boyfriend. In the labyrinth of the night, their roles became my lifelines, guiding me safely away from a potential peril that loomed on a ride-sharing horizon.